This is the Kuttikkanam route. We are going to see St. George CSI Church at Kuttikkanam, which was built by the British who came to the Pyramid Kuttikkanam area with a plantation industry a century and a half ago. St. George CSI Church still writes old history. The church attracts a large number of foreign and domestic tourists. The church is located on a peaceful hill near Kuttikkanam. The region is surrounded by mountains at an elevation of 2,500 to 3,500 feet above sea level. The land for the church, measuring 15 acres and 62 cents, was donated by the Travancore Maharani, Rani Thulakshmi Bai. The construction of the church was completed by Henry Baker Jr. and other plantation owners in 1862. The church was known as Ashutha's St. George CSI Church in its early days. Initially, only the British were allowed to worship. Mass and liturgy were conducted in English. After a few years, others were allowed to enter and the rites were arranged in Malayalam and Tamil. The peculiarity of the church is that the corpse of a horse is also buried. J.D. Monroe's white horse named Downey rests here. There are also the tombstones of 34 foreigners here, including John Munner, who was instrumental in planting tea in Munner. This is St. George CSI Church, a magnificent church built in the Gothic style of British architecture. The church was built in 1869 by the British. Built entirely in the European style, the church still attracts visitors, including the descendants of the Europeans buried there. The church was constructed on a 15-acre land provided by the Travancore Maharaja in 1869 for a place of worship for Europeans during the initial period of the tea planting. The church is built with European architectural ingenuity, using wild stone, lime, teak, spruce and wood. The furniture and articles used for religious ceremonies are of the British era. It also has glass-cut windows and antique wooden furniture. The cemetery here houses 34 tombs of people from England, Ireland, and Scotland. It is in this cemetery that John Daniel Munro, who was instrumental in planting tea in Munner, was also buried. The church is under the control of the British High Commissioner, and the only Indian who is buried there is Nalla Tambay, who served at the church. This is the tomb of John Daniel Munro's horse. It is probably the only cemetery in the world where a horse was buried and a tomb was erected. Mar Downey's tomb is opposite the tomb of its owner, John Daniel Munro.